Hey folks, Grant from Gunspot here for the ArmoryLife.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to avoid scope bite. Okay, so first off, let's start talking about what scope bite is. For those that may have never experienced it or may have never heard that term, scope bite is typically found out by newer shooters. However, sometimes you can pick up a rifle that is set up for them and pull it up and you're at that minimum level of eye relief and you end up finding out real quick what scope bite is. It's like it sounds. The scope is biting into your face. So what happens is the shooter gets too close to the optic, and that combined with the recoil of the firearm sends the scope back, making contact with the shooter's eyebrow typically, or sometimes right between the eyes. And a lot of times it'll end up cutting you open or at least leaving a pretty good welt. So of course, some of that's dependent on the caliber. Lighter recoil calibers, not so much. Lighter rifles can, without brakes or suppressors or some of those things on them to dampen recoil or weight, can help introducing you to scope bite. So my advice for you to avoid getting bit by the scope is, one, take a good look at the optic that you plan to mount on your rifle, or maybe you've already got it mounted. Find out what the eye relief range of your scope is. It's going to be in your owner's manual, but if you have, filed it away and you can't find it, normally most good quality scopes are going to have an eye relief of 2 out to maybe 4 inches. Now, it could be plus or minus a little bit. Sometimes the cheaper scopes are going to have a tighter eye box, and that can come into play both for your benefit as well as for a negative if the eye box is very close in and you're putting it on a higher recoiling rifle. So what I'm talking about as far as eye relief is where your eye has to be spaced out from the ocular lens to your eye in order for you to get that clear image to the outer edges of your scope. This is really important for accuracy-based fire, so you need to know that. You also have a maximum. So like I said, 2 to 4 inches is kind of a general rule for most scopes in eye relief. So as you are mounting up your rings on your rifle or positioning the rings on your slotted rail, if you're running a pick rail, you need to kind of plug and play where that optic needs to sit so you're really right in the middle. You have that safety net that's not going to put you in a precarious situation to experience scope bite the hard way. So for me, what I do when I set up my rifle is I don't want to go to or take it to a store that's going to just generically set it up for them. We're all cut from a different cloth. Some people have long giraffe-like necks and other people's don't even have a neck. And if you have a guy at a store that sets it up and he's got no neck, and you could double as a giraffe at the zoo, buddy, you're gonna get bit. It's only a matter of time. Okay, so once we have determined what our eye relief is, and we mounted up the rifle to where our eye is somewhere in the middle of that range of eye relief spectrum. Another bit of advice that I would choose to have you heed would be to not just do it from a bench position, especially if you're going to be a PRS competitor or an NRL competitor or some type of shooting sport where you're not just going to be shooting off a bench or not just shooting off of prone, but through a variety of different positions. Because as you move the rifle into those different positions, it's going to either move your eye closer or further away from the rear ocular lens. Of course, that being the eyepiece. And so we want to space it, just as a general rule, somewhere in the middle of that. But if you have a very tight eye relief on your particular scope, you want to probably be on that maximum side. That way, when you set up the rifle, you're at that limit to help protect you from scope bite. So don't just settle for what the local gun shop sets up your rifle for. That's just kind of a recipe that may end up producing a bleeding forehead and maybe a missed buck or an opportunity on that chosen game animal that you're out there to get. All right, folks, that's how to avoid scope bite. Thanks for watching. Remember, train hard. Your family deserves it.